Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little first impressions slash makeup tutorial sort of on the NARS Cool Crush palette. In case you guys were wondering, this is what the box looks like. And then on the back you have a picture of the palette. It's like this pretty like silvery box. And then this is what the actual palette looks like. I got this on the Nordstrom website. And I got it 25% off during that like huge beauty sale they had randomly during quarantine. This is the palette up close. You guys know already that probably the only reason I purchased this palette was for this red shade right here. I'm guilty. Okay, so immediately when I saw this palette, the way that I was drawn to the colors and I saw myself using this palette was actually the way they placed the shades. So I would use these three shades as one look, these three shades as one look, and so on and so on. And so I'm gonna show you guys a video with all four looks. So let's get started. The first look I'll be doing will be this first row right here, and then we'll just move down the line. Okay, so really quick, in case you guys were wondering, I have already prepped and primed my face. I have used the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer, and I have my Bare Minerals foundation. In case you guys are wondering, I'm light. I'm the color light in the original foundation, and I'm using the Mineral Veil finishing powder in translucent, so that's like the clear one. I've used my Hoola bronzer as my, the bronzer for my face. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. And then I have used my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. For my blush and highlight, I've used these corner shades. This is my blush and this is the highlight. Okay, just for the sake of saving time, every time I do a look, I'm gonna have the same face products, same bronzer, same finishing powder, and I also prime my eyelids with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in anti-aging. So none of these products will change. Let's get started. All right, I'm gonna be using my Bare Minerals Shade and Diffuse eye brush. You guys know that I love this brush. I have two of them. You can use this to apply crease shades or just shadow shades. I absolutely love this brush. All right, so the first shade I'm going to go into is gonna be the top shade. And I'm gonna use it as crease. I'm sorry, like a base color, crease color, and then this as a pop shade. So let's get started. This is an all matte shade that I'm applying, and I'm applying this all over the lid. I will also be inserting swatches of this palette at the end of the video. If you guys want to see a close-up picture of this palette, you can follow me on my Instagram. Well, you don't have to follow me if you don't want to. Actually, my page is public, so you can just see the picture if you'd like. And my Instagram name is Isabel, which is my first name, 112506. Obviously, when I created my Instagram account, there were a lot of Isabels, so numbers had to follow because I couldn't bring myself to giving myself some like name, I I just feel that oh I'm not sick, don't worry, I don't have COVID, but it is early in the morning and my voice is getting warmed up. Okay, so I've applied that shade on the lid all over, so it's pretty much the same color of my skin. I think it creates a nice space where it's neutralizing the shadows. I'm actually gonna zoom you guys in a little bit, obviously for the sake of this video. I also have some like lip smacker lip balm and instant candy if you guys were wondering what's on my lips and why is it a little bit shiny. All right, so with the next brush, I'm going to be using my Bare Minerals crease lid line and crease brush. This is a dual-ended brush, but I'm really just going to use the fluffy part of the brush. And I did get quite a bit of kick up with that shadow. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but I'm going to go into the second shade and I'm going to apply that to the lid. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if it wasn't for this red shade in this palette, I wouldn't have picked it up. You guys have already seen my makeup collection. You guys know I do not need more makeup. I should have brought my coffee. I will when I sit down to film that second look. I'm really excited though to try the blues. I've seen some mixed reviews about the palette. However, I feel like not a lot of people have reviewed this palette. I also didn't see I didn't see NARS really advertising this palette either. So I kind of just came across it by accident. On Instagram, someone posted a picture of it and turns out it was like exclusive to Nordstrom. But I think now NARS.com has it because I received an email from NARS showing that, you know, they have the palette now. Let me just grab a little bit more and put it on this eye just to even it out. I'm really going in with a light hand because these shadows are matte, but they're very heavily pigmented. And so, you know, it could be detrimental, really. When you apply too much shadow, it's kind of hard to fix. And it's kind of early for me, so I'm not really sure how I would handle that stressful situation. Okay, so this is that crease shade applied all over the crease. And again, this is an all matte shade. And there's quite a lot of kick up in the pan. So if you're not really into that, then this is probably not gonna be the look for you. Next, I'm gonna go into the last shade right here, which is a foiled sort of gold shade. And I'm gonna use my finger actually, I'm gonna use the end of this brush to see if it applies well with a brush before I go in with my finger. Let's give it a try. I'm just gonna apply it to the center of the lid. All right, so it's not really doing much with the brush. As you can see, I'm gonna go with my finger. It's just the way you gotta do it. Ooh, that is pretty. Actually, it's not as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. I'm just gonna put it all over the lid. Just gonna lay it down. That is really nice. Let me do the other eye so I'm not awkwardly squinting into the camera. Definitely applying it with your finger is the way to go. It takes absolutely no effort to apply it with your finger. my gosh, that is gorgeous. And obviously because I used my finger, there was no kick up on that last shade, but I really like it. I thought it was gonna be really, really loud and a little bit unwearable, you know, kind of like disco ballish almost, but it's not. I really, really like it. So now I'm going to apply some eyeliner, some mascara, and some eyebrow gel, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I applied my Chanel eyeliner in number 69 Clear on the bottom waterline. I went in with my Clarins CeeLo 4 all-in-one pen, and I used the brown eyeliner on my top lashes. I went with brown because I wanted to stick to the theme of the look. I wanted to keep it a little bit soft, kind of everyday, glam. And then I went in with my Chanel eyebrow gel, applied that to my eyebrows. And in case you guys are wondering, this is color Brun 370. Yeah, 370. And then I went in with my Chanel Base Mascara Primer. And then as my mascara, I used the YSL Mascara Vinyl Couture. These are both samples, so that's why they're so tiny. Next, let's do lips. So the current lip combination I've been obsessed with is I have been lining my lips with the Pat McGrath Permagel and Supernatural. As you can see, this is what I have left of it. And I have been using the Clinique Dramatically Different lipstick in number 1, Barely. And I have been applying my Bare Minerals Moxie Marvelous lip gloss in Flirty Mauve. So let's do some lips. Actually, I think I could just use the viewfinder. I did go ahead and remove the lip balm I was wearing. Really love this lip liner. Then I hardly have anything left of this lipstick, but I really like it. It's very moisturizing. So if you want a lipstick that gives you good payoff, color payoff, like looks like a lipstick but feels more moisturizing than a regular lipstick, you're gonna really like this from Clinique. I highly suggest you pick some up. They have tons of colors. And if you were wondering, I got mine at Ulta. Okay. Let me go in with some lip gloss. Actually running out of this. I don't even think there's anything left in this tube. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. And I'm sorry if you hear construction in the back. My husband's putting up gutters. When we bought our house, we didn't realize the house didn't have gutters. And we, 3 years later, realized the importance of having gutters when we started to notice one cracked tile in the office here. And so when you don't have gutters, FYI, messes up the foundation of your home. Thank God, by the grace of God, it's just, you know, nothing major. Once we put these gutters in, it's fine. But, you know, that's what's going on outside the window. Okay, so this completes the look. Let me go ahead and give you a close-up. I really, really like this gold shade here. It's really pretty. All right, that completes this look. Let's move on to the next one. For this next look, we're gonna go into these 3 shades. And I haven't quite decided how I'm gonna do this, so I kind of will just walk you through it. my face is already prepped. All right, so I'm going to go in with my Bare Minerals Shade and Diffuse eyeshadow brush. I've been using my little color switch thing, so I'm gonna go into the first top champagne shade, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid. This gives the eyelid a really nice wash of color. I like it. So far between the first look and this one, most of the shadows in this palette have had a lot of kick-ups. So, you know, as I mentioned before, if that's, you know, that's a pet peeve of yours and you really don't like that, then I don't really think this palette is gonna be one you should invest your money in. So I'm just spreading that shadow. I am picking up a little bit because the shadows really are quite pigmented. Okay, so I've just added that all over the lid to the brow bone. I'm gonna go in with my Bare Minerals crease brush, and I'm going to go into that middle shade. And I'm gonna go in with a light hand. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't really use like blue shadows. Most of the blue I use is I either use like blue mascara or blue eyeliner, but it's not a color I gravitate to. I don't have blue eyes. I know people with blue eyes really like to wear like blue shades, but this is like a blue, like a teal sort of blue with some gold flecks in it, some gold shimmer peeking through. I don't know, it's a little bit scary. So I'm just going in with a light hand, and I'm just setting that as a transition shade. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so the blue actually applies lighter on the skin than it looks like in the pan. I believe that it's not as pigmented as I thought it was gonna be, which is good because it gives you room to build up as much as you want. I feel like the biggest struggle I have with the Pat McGrath palette is that it's so pigmented right off the bat that no matter what, I always pick up too much. And so I like that you have room to build the color, since it is, you know, an intense color. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with the deeper shade, and I'm actually gonna go in with my Morphe M431 brush, and I'm going to smudge that deeper color on the lash line. Let's see how this is going to turn out, and I'm just gonna concentrate it on the outside of the lid. I'm not gonna drag it in. I'm actually getting my other mirror here because I need to use the magnifying part to see a little closer. I'm really going in lightly because this is a really pigmented shade. As you can see, it's like very blue. So I'm kind of just lightly putting that on sort of on the lash line, creating sort of like a liner effect just on the outer portion of the eye, and then I'm gonna go ahead and deepen that up. I watched Finding Dory last night. What a cute movie, but I felt like I cried a lot. Did anybody else have that effect? Did you all like cry hard? All right, so now I am just kind of using the excess color that's on that brush and just kind of smudging it on the outer corner here. Kind of want to create that like ombre effect, and then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other eye. Yes, I cried when I thought her parents were dead. I cried so hard. I cried all throughout her memories when she first got lost as a child. I cried when she was, you know, saying in that cute little voice. I don't know who does her voice as Baby Dory, but I'm glad that's not my child's, because I wouldn't be able to say no to that voice. So I just felt like I cried throughout most of it. Okay, so I've created that like liner effect on the outside, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in with my crease brush, and I'm gonna dip into that same dark, let me just show it to you in case you forgot. I'm gonna dip back into that color right there, and I'm literally just like stamping my brush in there, and I'm just gonna kind of glide it very softly into the crease, just to kind of deepen the whole look. Like I said, this is not really a look I would wear every day, so I feel like these shades I think are the most challenging to use in the palette, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it a bit more wearable. So right now I would stop right here and just apply mascara and liner, but actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the brown shade we used in the previous look, this one right here, and I'm gonna apply a little bit of that brown into the crease just to kind of soften everything up. Actually, I don't need that huge mirror anymore. I could just use this one. And I'm just giving it more like a deeper sort of effect to it. So it's not so like green, you know, you can wear it with more things other than this very dramatic eye. Like if you wanted to wear these colors still and have them peek through a little bit, you can. Just add a little bit of the brown shade over the crease. You'll still have a little bit of that green coming through, but it makes it a bit more toned down and wearable. All right, so off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my eyes. I apply mascara and all that, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I went ahead and I applied my same Chanel brow gel on my brows. I added some YSL mascara, some Chanel eyeliner on the bottom waterline, and I left that blue liner there. But I kind of want to, oh, and lipstick, of course. I used my Clinique Long Last lipstick in number 3 Creamy Nude. I thought that a nude lip would be nice since the eye is a bit intense. But I think that this look is something I would wear on a daily basis once I added a little bit of that brown. If you don't want to use a brown in here, you can use any brown shade from any palette that you have, something a little, you know, soft brown over it. Let me just show you. So when I added that top brown, you can still see that it kind of looks like a sea foam green to me. You can still see the sea foam green peeking through, but it's a bit less like in your face, super bright. It's a little bit more muted after you put a little bit of that brown over it. And I went ahead and I used that very dark blue as a liner. And to be completely honest with you, I'm a big fan of blue liner. I think it does wonders for the eyes. So that shade I think I would use as a liner for most of the looks if I have leftovers. So like what I'm trying to say is, if I'm using this palette in progression, then obviously I'm only going to be using a little bit of this shade. And so I would just, even if I run out of all the other colors, I would continue to use that blue shade as a liner while incorporating other palettes into my rotation if I run out of the other shades. So that's another thing that you can consider if you're thinking, oh, well, I'm never going to use that shade, like I won't get maximum use. You can just continue to use that color as a liner for all your other looks. I think it's very subtle. It almost gives the eye like a little bit of a like je ne sais quoi type of look, where people know like your eyes are standing out, but they can't quite pinpoint exactly what it is because it's subtle. Like unless I close my eyes completely and someone's that close, you can't really tell you have like a blue liner on. I think it looks great. Anyways, this is the second look, and now let's move on to look number 3. Now let's go in with the third look. I'm gonna start off with this shade all over the crease. I'm gonna put it on my eyelid first before just grabbing a brush, before I decide to put that puppy all over the brow bone, because it looks pretty shimmery. So let's see. Okay, just going in with a just regular eyeshadow brush. My hair is very rebellious today. Actually, it's shimmery, but it's actually very soft. It's like a satin finish. So I'm just gonna bring it all the way up to my brow bone. It's a very soft rose. It is gorgeous. I just finished season 2 of Dead to Me on Netflix. I've laughed so much with that show. If you've watched it and you like it, leave me a comment down below. Whenever you think you're crazy, watch that show. It's gonna make you feel so much better about yourself. Okay, so this is just that wash of color all over the lid. And then I'm gonna go in, let me look for a crease brush. So I'm gonna go in with a Real Techniques base shadow brush. This is really good to apply shadow or crease shades. It's like sort of squished in the middle a little bit. It's like, I feel like semi-flat. I'm gonna go in with that middle shade and I'm gonna use that as my transition shade. So there was a hailstorm here yesterday. As you guys know, I live in Florida. I've never experienced a hailstorm, and I just want you to know it was pretty scary. It was like rocks falling from the sky. I thought it was gonna really mess up my car. It didn't, thank God. But I was like, first of all, it was very loud. And I thought, oh my gosh, it felt like it was gonna break one of my windows. But it didn't, surprisingly. And I don't understand why we had a hailstorm, because it was very hot. So I know nothing about the weather, so. All right, so I've used that as a transition shade. It's really pretty. It's actually soft enough where if you wanted to use this shade as just a wash of color all over the lid, that would work as well. Okay, now we're gonna go into the only reason I bought this palette was this red shade right here. It's a matte shade, and I am going to ever so lightly tap my brush. I'm using the same brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and use windshield wiper motions. And I literally just tapped it, and look how much color already is on there. Okay. Definitely NARS has some serious pigmented eyeshadows. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. All right, so that kind of makes it a little pink, a little bit, you know, more wearable. I'm gonna go in with the Morphe M431 pencil brush, and I'm gonna go into that red shade, and I'm gonna do sort of the same thing that I did with the blue. I really like to use really strong shades like this that have that punch of color as eyeliner. So I'm gonna first do my top lash line, and then I will determine if I'm gonna do the bottom. But I feel like a lot of the times when you do the top, like, it's so bright that if you want to make it like a night look, yeah, you can do the bottom, but I just think that the top is pretty good for me. So I'm just dragging that on the top lash line. You guys, this color is gorgeous. Like, I want this color as nail polish. I want it in lipstick form. And then now I'm just kind of like using whatever's left over on the brush, and I am sort of just concentrating on the outer corner on the V. I'm going into the crease and then down, into the crease and then down with inward strokes. So as you can see, I've built that up, and now I'm gonna go in again. It's really pigmented. You can actually like achieve the pigmentation pretty strong, but I've never used this palette, so I'm kind of going in little by little, because I feel that once you've applied too much, there's no going back. Okay, and then I'm just gonna diffuse that. All right, let me do the other eye first before I start to get brave and go to the lower lash line. So I have a really hard time using pencil brushes on my lower lash line. It tends to get very messy. I don't know if I've tried to watch videos and people kind of just drag the brush down there like in a messy way. And I don't know if it's the way that my eyes are like formed, but that technique doesn't work for me. Like, I don't know if it's if I have too much space, like, you know, I don't know. Leave me a comment down below if you struggle with that. All right, so let me see if I've got this even. I had to use this mirror here because the viewfinder's pretty small and far. So, all right, so that looks even. Okay, right here, I would really love to leave it just like this, put on some mascara, and we're done. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna drag this on the lower lash line. And there's a 50-50 chance this isn't gonna come out good. So I'm going in with a very light hand. Maybe I'm too rough with the brush. Like, I don't know. But I can never just like, oh, go in there and like a crazy person. It just never looks right. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. It just got intense, but I love it. I love red liner so much. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply some mascara, some brow gel, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So let me just get close so you guys can see what I did. I did not add mascara to the bottom lash line because I really want that like red liner to, that red shadow to really shine through. This is what the top looks like. I really like this the way that it is. I would wear this anytime, anywhere. That's just me because I love that reddish like undertone. So there's two ways I find that I can quickly make this dramatic. I can either go in with a burgundy lip, or I can keep it cash and go in with like a nude lip. So I'm gonna show you both just for the sake of this video. All right, so let me go ahead and line my lips. I'm lining my lips with my Pat McGrath Super Natural lip liner. Literally, there's like nothing left. And I'm doing a pretty thick line just because I'm gonna go in with my Clinique Dramatically Different lipstick in #1 Barely, and this is pretty like a pinky nude, and I'm gonna mix it with the brown lip liner to get that kind of brown undertone. Okay, so this is what it looks like with the nude. Let me give you another close-up. So far, this has been my favorite eyeshadow look of the whole palette. Now let's go in with the dark lipstick. All right, so as I was stating before, this just made the look, in my opinion, a nighttime look. And I prefer, like if I'm out on a run, I think that I'm looking down so that you guys can kind of see the eyeshadow and the lipstick. But if I'm out on the run, for me, the easiest way to turn a day look into a night look is like throwing on like a dark lipstick instead of having to go in with like eyeshadow and more eyeliner and kind of build up on what I have, because usually like when you're out and about, you're not really carrying like an entire eyeshadow palette with you, you know what I mean? So I think that having like a dark lipstick in your purse for, you know, those emergency times where you're like, oh, let's go get some drinks and, you know, happy hour, that would be the best way, in my opinion, to do it. And it's worked out for me many years. So I usually have my Chanel Red Obscure in my purse, or I'll have something like this, but sort of something similar with like a reddish, like a deep undertone. Anyways, Now for the last and final look. Okay, now for our last and final look will be these three colors right here. And I will go in progression. I'll use this one as my base color, transition, crease. I think out of the whole palette, the corner looks are the, you know, kind of the easiest. These can be a little, I want to say a little bit tricky because the colors are so, you have those two really pigmented matte shades. But I think that if you go in with a light hand, you should be fine. I'm gonna go in with my MAC 217S brush, and I'm gonna go into this all matte shade up here right in the corner, and I'm gonna apply that all over the lid. I really love this palette. I actually like it now that I've done these looks much more than I thought I was. I really thought I was not gonna like any of the blue or green colors. I didn't think that they were gonna apply well. The problem is that I have had bad experience with blues and greens in the past. They never go on the way they look in the pan. They never come out as pigmented, and so you end up with like a weird funky shade of green or blue. So I'm assuming that that's not a shade that's very easy to formulate and make, but I really think that NARS did it right, and I enjoyed it actually. And I have been able to make this palette that looks very, you know, I think it's a very like sort of in your face because of these four colors. Mostly these three colors are really like, oh, I think I was able to make it more everyday wearable where it'd be worth your money. And at the same time, you can definitely use this palette for a nighttime look. So now I'm gonna go into that second shade. I'm gonna use the same brush, and I'm just gonna apply that as my transition shade. It is storming today, so if you can hear the rain and the wind in the background, I apologize. But I am lucky enough that I didn't have to use my ring light, because you guys know I try not to use that as much as possible when I'm doing you know, makeup tutorials, because it messes kind of with the color you actually see on the camera of the shadows. I feel like it's when you film with natural light, you really get the most true color that you can see as a viewer here in person. I know that sentence didn't make sense. It's early in the morning for me. I'm sipping my coffee. Yeah, I should take a couple more sips before I keep talking to you guys, because I didn't formulate a full sentence there. All right, so I've laid that down as a transition shade, and now I'm gonna go into this really pretty shimmery taupey color. It is a satin shade, so, and I'm gonna use the same brush. You guys know I love using the same brush. And then I'm just gonna start from the corner and drag that in. And I'm not going all the way in this way because I still want that transition shade to really shine. So I'm kind of doing like an ombre effect where I wanted to like do that like fading in. And then I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other side. That is beautiful. Now I'm gonna go in with just a clean crease brush, and I'm just gonna soften up the edges. Okay. All right, so off camera, I'm gonna go ahead and apply mascara and some eyeliner, BRB. Eyeliner in 69 Clear on my waterline. It's kind of like a beige skin-like color. I put a little bit of brown eyeliner to my top lashes, and I used my Clarins off 4 all-in-one pen. You guys have seen this 1,000 times. Some black mascara, some eyelash primer, and some eyebrow gel. Now I'm gonna go in with Dose of Colors, a lipstick in Brulee. Yeah, so it's this, like, you can get these at Ulta. This is where I got mine. So it's kind of like this long lipstick crayon type of lipstick. I think it looks really cool. Very pigmented, very creamy. I like it. I can see why people rave about Dose of Color lipsticks. I put down my hair. All right, so let's talk about this palette. My thoughts. When I bought this palette, you guys already know, I bought it for that red color. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. That was the truth. I really like it. I actually ended up liking it way more than I thought I was, because I really was very skeptical about these two shades right here. They turned out great. Let me give you another close-up. I would say one of the cons with this palette is that most of the shades in here have a lot of kick up. And if that's not something you're into, I would definitely skip out on this palette. I think this palette has a nice balance of warm and cool tones, even though it's called the Cool Crush palette. I did purchase this at Nordstrom, but you can also purchase this at NARS.com. This was supposed to be kind of like their cool tones attempt at a palette, and I personally don't do well with all cool tone palettes. I feel like I need a couple of warm shades in there to balance things out, and I think that they did a really good job with this palette when it came to that. I think that you have a nice balance of shimmery shades, because you've got these two Super Shock shades that you can apply with your finger for real intense color, or you can go in with a brush for a softer effect. You can take this palette from day to night in a heartbeat. So I am very impressed with this palette. I thought I wasn't gonna be, and of course I love the packaging, that crunched metal with the orange lettering. Let me give you one more close-up of this. And I didn't pay full price for it. I got it on sale. It was a great deal, but yeah, I really like the palette. Let me give you a close-up of the look that I just did. It's just this soft, very wearable, everyday look. I really like how the colors blended together, and I think that brown liner gives it more of a soft effect. So I truly enjoyed working with this palette and doing all 4 looks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Bye.